Hello again, everyone. Mark Hackle, Macomb County Executive, Deputy Executive John Paul Rea. It's the weekend after the Derby races. Last year did pretty good. Authentic pulled it off, but this year, not so good. It was a bit of a challenge this year and trying to bet on the horses, but you never bet against Bob Baffert and or his jockey, John Velasquez. I should have went with him, but for some reason, I chose not to. Bad decision.
Yeah,
So,
it happens, Mark.
You had yours.
A dynamic field of ponies. I had Hot Rod Charlie since the beginning. Unfortunately, couldn't pull it out, but on the place and show, it's okay. But,
yeah, it kind of happens.
It's one of those things, Mark, where as we look at the whole notion of getting back to normal, I know a lot of people talk about that. It was good to see one of those things, a structured event that, is the same time every single year, getting back into normalcy on that end and everything, and, having some of the celebrations and jovialness around it and everything.
It was one of my favorite events, I guess, if you will. So with that being said, the numbers are interesting. It's the fluctuations. I don't think anybody really has a true understanding or grasp of why we're seeing what we see when it comes to the spikes, the increases, the decreases. There's a lot of assumptions made, especially by a lot of folks in the medical fields. So, but we do know where we stand today, that the hospitalizations are going down and pretty significantly, as well as the test positive rate. Specifically in Macomb County. I think just a week or two ago we were at 26 and now we're at 16 and it's really starting to drop off even more so. So good news, a lot of our seniors have gotten the vaccine, over 70% right now. Big challenge with people wanting to get vaccinated. But again, as I always say, it's a matter of personal choice. There is no requirement by law for people to do it. You need to converse with your doctors as well as your family members making that decision. But understand this, here in Macomb County, vaccines are plentiful, meaning there's plenty of opportunity to get a vaccine. And here, our health department has pretty much been taking walk-ins at our two clinics. One is the Verk building, and then the other one is their Southwest clinic. We don't put it out there that you can walk in, but you can. Why? Is because you can go online right now and get same-day appointments. You can actually schedule an appointment right now as you're listening to this to guarantee that you're going to get a spot when you come in. You're not going to have to wait in some kind of a line. So, but again, if you happen to be driving by one of those sites and you say, you know what, I think I finally made a decision, I want to go ahead and do that, you can just go on in and they will take care of you. So we're fortunate in that regard.
Mark, ease of access. The team has done an exceptional job continuing to modernize not only the appointment system, the notification systems, the resources that we have out there for individuals that choose to access the vaccine in a vast majority of sites around the county. Tremendous amount of credit to Andrew Cox, the entire team, Brandon Lewis on the emergency management side, Vicki Wilbur running things from Emergency Operations Center. It has been seamless, it has been great, and it's continuing to engage the public on that. The ease of access is what, again, we are going to champion over the next handful of weeks now. Whether you can get at a community-based site, whether it's the outreach that we're going to continue to do with our local units and our emergency management personnel across the entire county, we're in an advantageous position. As you also said, trends are going in a very positive direction for us. These are things where we see not only declining cases, declines in hospitalizations, and a stability as far as the amount of individuals that are coming to get tests too. So really favorable position for us right now. We're going to continue to come at this. Individuals are still getting vaccinated on a daily basis at the county sites. Those vaccination appointments are available. And again, we encourage individuals to go out there, get the information, and make an informed decision for themselves.
The big concern we're going to have moving forward, many of you had heard, now we've switched from, I guess, if you will, the matrix of positivity rates as well as hospitalizations. Now there's been a movement on behalf of the state to say that they're going to only open up, or direction we're going to go is based upon people that get vaccinated, statewide percentages. And there's a varying degree of percentages as to what will open or what we'll be able to do as far as going back to normalcy. With that being said, the question is going to be shortly here, if we start to see those test positive rates go down incredibly low, as well as hospitalizations, yet for some reason you haven't met whatever that standard is the state has put forth on behalf of percentage of people being vaccinated, which once again is optional. There's nothing that requires you to get vaccinated. But with that being said, what's going to happen at that point in time when that juncture gets here where we start to see that positivity rate is extremely low, and yet the vaccination rate, people are just saying, whether you want to call it hesitancy or people are just saying, I'm not going to do it. When those two forces come together, what is the state going to allow for, something to happen? So again, I see this being a continuous concern. I'm just, the only thing that worries me is that there's pitting people against one another right now, that because of this goal that's being set, it's going to force people to say, well, then you better or you need to get vaccinated. I tend to say if it's a matter of choice and people have an opportunity to make a choice, far be it for me to challenge them on that. If it's required by law, that's a whole different story. And, I don't know if we're going to get to that point. I haven't seen it yet from any state. But right now, if, everybody has varying degrees of opinions, and we all have them. We all want people to kind of adhere to our opinions on things, and it's unfortunate. We need to respect people's opinions and choices or decisions they make if it's not required by law. But this is going to be the big push. I think coming up shortly here is going to be this tension between people now. Because of a new matrix that has come out that wasn't there once before, and it's going to challenge us as a society, and how we act, during that time.
Mark, it was an interesting week as the state transitioned from a test and test positive matrix now to a vaccination-based matrix. It's one of those things that as we started to receive intel with regards to the MI vax to normal strategies the state has out there, you talked about the benchmarks based on the amount of individuals that are vaccinated, whether it's the vaccine eligible population, how these things work on as we're opening it up, as now everyone can access the vaccine, how that works into not only scaling in more business operations, but what that looks like to standardize things from a school and a learning environment, also from an athletics environment there too. All these different variables are being fielded, assessed, and examined, not only for how it works with our health department, to continuing to inform the public and businesses as to how these strategies will dictate where the state is at. But ultimately, what it boils down to is us getting additional access to vaccines. So again, an individual, should they choose to, they can get so in a safe and familiar environment. And more importantly, continuing to advocate to be a part of the solution. We will always continue to do that in Macomb County. We will not be focused on retribution. We will be focused on guiding individuals with appropriate resources so they can make informed decisions.
Yeah, and we're not trying to tell people what to do, but again, making it available and having access. I tell you, we've done an incredible job outreach within the communities, our facilities, our sites. But two, we've added this feature. You need a ride, we'll provide. And basically, it's through SMART. SMART will provide transportation for people that are elderly, people that have limitations in their ability. People just don't have access to transportation. So you can go ahead and get a ride from SMART. If you're a senior and you're still looking for that vaccination, you can click on macombgov.org and go ahead and click on that, but also understand there's opportunity if you need a ride. And I say that because there's a number that's out there. If you are looking for a ride to one of our vaccination clinics, it's a 1-866-962-5515. The number again, 866-962-5515. If you need a ride, we will provide, and basically it's through SMART. Credit to the work that they're doing over there and trying to get people to these sites if they need it.
SMART has been modernizing every single step of the way throughout the pandemic, whether it's leveraging the CARES Act allocation and the American Recovery Plan dollars that are coming in for transit service providers, but again, working with the local units of government. Mark, we have been incredibly intertwined with Robert Kramer, the entire team over there, whether it's the FISC route service, whether it's the flex services, whether it's the dollar ride services for seniors, and now expanding that to anyone that needs a vaccine access and eligibility, they can do through the SMART bus system, the county's transit service provider.
Yeah, and again, schools are still functioning rather well. We're starting to see some declines in numbers there as well, working with them diligently. But for the most part, nobody really has an answer as to why it ebbs and flows. The challenge is people are still out there trying to keep them safe. But again, summer's here and people are trying to get out and about. We're seeing more of that activity, which is a good thing. So trying to get people out there. So again, this is just a quick update. Tomorrow, we're going to have a press conference. So tomorrow being Tuesday, and at that press conference, I've got all the county-wides and even the board chair here in Macomb County going to be there. So Candace Miller, Larry Rocca, Pete Lucido, Anthony Forlini, and Tony Wickersham, as well as the chairman of the board, Don Brown, will be there as well. Just basically to give people the understanding that here in Macomb County, we are going to provide access to vaccination. So nobody's there trying to tell people what to do. I always tend to look at it as a public official. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. Far be it for me to tell you or anyone else what they should do. But again, knowing that this is available, knowing that the experts are telling us it's safe and it's probably going to be helpful to you if you get vaccinated, we want to make sure we have complete access for anyone. So these various county-wides are going to talk a little bit about what they've been doing throughout this pandemic, the close working relationship we've had. But again, encourage anyone that needs an opportunity to get to a vaccination site to go ahead and do so and to reach out to the county. And in fact, our new website is going to be coming online shortly. We've kind of cleaned it up. We always are trying to figure out how do we become more robust with our website and the features and the look of it. Shortly, we're going to be changing that out, and as soon as we do, we'll give you that information. So in the meantime, on behalf of JP, myself, and the rest of us here in Macomb County, want to continue to remind you to keep you and your family safe.